Wow, we finally had some time to kind of take a deep breath and realize exactly what happened last night between the Los Angeles Chargers and, of course, the Houston Texans. And there are a lot of positives for this Chargers team that we are going to break down on today's show. We're going to talk about the winners and then, unfortunately, some of the losers after this game. Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I am your host, Will Ortner, and I think it's important for all of us to remember the guys that we say are winners are the guys who had their stock rise. The guys that we say are losers are not saying that they themselves are losers. We're not saying that they should not be on the team. We're not saying that they should be cut. We're just saying that their stock, well, frankly, it went a little bit down. We're on the road to 6K, though. We had a ton of people come in, hit that subscribe button. Over 40 subscribers gained yesterday. Let's get all the way to 6K. I said that I thought we could get to 6K subscribers by the end of the next preseason game. I certainly think that the best way to do that is for you to come in and hit that subscribe button on today's video. You do that, sky is the limit. Let's start with the winners for the Los Angeles Chargers because there are a lot of different players on this team that I think actually had a fantastic day. And the irony is we're not even going to start with the players. We're going to start with the coordinators because I'll tell you right now, I thought that both Mike McDaniel and Chris O'Leary showed us just how talented they are. Let's start with McDaniel and this offense. I get it. It's a preseason game. You still put up 27 points, man. That's an impressive mark. That's an impressive clip. You had over 300 yards, almost 400 yards. You controlled the time of possession. If you don't fumble the football and you don't throw an interception in the red zone, I mean, shoot, this team ends up having an even bigger point differential. Also, 50% on third down. That's fantastic, especially when you do not have your starters out there for you. You got your backups, and you're still 50%. I thought that Mike McDaniel had an excellent game. The first drive for the Houston Texans was sketchy for this Chargers defense. I'm going to be honest. I was kind of saying, Coach O'Leary, what's going on here? Producer Tom was saying the same things in my ear. What's happening? Why aren't they stopping this Texans offense? Then they did. Even when Davis Mills came back out on the field. Barely 200 yards. Probably don't even get there if the Chargers would have been able to hold on to the football a little bit more in that fourth quarter. DJU just kept scoring and scoring and scoring so fast that the time of possession kind of ended up getting a little back towards the Houston Texans. You weren't able to force turnovers, but you were in a position where you got really close a bunch of other times. Then, of course, the time where the Chargers ended up coming away with that fumble, right? That was just simple miscommunication there between the Texans running back and quarterback leads to the fumble. I thought that R.J. Mickens was in a position to get an interception. Genesis Smith was in a position to get an interception. There were some different opportunities for this team, and so I thought that was interesting. DJU, he's my next winner. I thought the coordinators did great. I thought DJU really put himself into a conversation where we might not be talking about him as the third-string quarterback anymore. I think we could talk about him as the second-string QB. I mean, look, Trey Lance got a lot more room to work with. He was out there running around doing more things. You look at DJU, you asked him to throw the ball 9 times. Hey, the 3 that were incomplete, they were never in harm's way. There was never a conversation around, hey, will that be intercepted? It was just a ball that didn't end up getting completed. Other than that, DJU found the open receivers. He delivered strikes, and the guys ended up making big plays. He had 1 passing touchdown, really should have had 2, and I thought that he was in full control. I thought that he looked really good in this game. And I think that there were kind of murmurs that maybe DJU had put himself into a position where he could challenge for that backup role. I think that he fully has put himself into a spot where we should be talking about him as QB2, not QB3. Trey Lance was very up and down. More on that later. DJU was everything that you could ask. He delivered the football on time, got good strikes out there, and he wasn't even throwing to the second team guys. He was throwing to the third team guys. I was very impressed with everything that I saw out of DJU. We have so much more to discuss on the program today, but first, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With the football season right around the corner, there's no better time to cash in with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, The app is really easy to use. For player picks, just pick more or less on a few players' stats and lock in your lineup. That's it. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. One thing I love is the new social feeds feature, where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at BigWill7774 to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Quentin Johnston, more on his receiving TDs. Kenyon Sadiq, more on his receiving TDs. Jackson Smith and Jigba, more on his receiving TDs. New user offer. Best of all, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. Next winner for me, Amar Johnson, man. I thought that Johnson looked really stinking good in this game. He ran the football efficiently. Now, look, you'd like to get over 3 yards a carry, but when you're working with a 3 offensive line, also by the end of the game, the Houston Texans were just sending the house. They were able to get a little more pressure on him. But I thought he ran through some arm tackles. He did a very good job there. He gets into the end zone twice, and he has that big play reception. It just felt like, yes, Johnson might have been a little bit of a winner by circumstance. Obviously, if you get to carry the football inside of the 5-yard line a handful of times, good things are going to happen. But, man, he made the most of his opportunities. That big play down the sideline on that reception was absolutely fantastic. I was impressed with Johnson and everything that he was able to do for this team. Who was the biggest winner for the Chargers? Go down below in our comment section. I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say, because I think a couple of different people could easily jump onto this list that maybe I left out, or maybe that I'm about to talk about here in just a moment. So let us know what your opinion is in our comment section. Jahmeer Carter, man. I was very impressed with what he was able to do. Carter was fantastic on the interior of that defensive line, man. He kept finding ways to get into the backfield. He kept finding ways to get tackles, ended up getting a big sack in this game as well. I just thought that Carter was excellent, man. You asked him to show up big, and he certainly did that. The more that Carter was on the field, I thought the better for the Chargers. KeAndre Lambert-Smith is my last winner. By the way, these are not necessarily a rankings, just something that I wanted to make sure that I had out there. KLS, man, early on in this game, he was asked to do a lot. The only blemish he has is a difficult ball to catch that end up hitting the ground. He was falling down, had his arms out. Just wasn't quite able to bring it in. I thought that KLS, someone who is probably on the fringe of making this team, I thought he certainly put himself in a good standing. That's for sure. Johnny Pascuzzi, by the way, shout out to you. You're going to be my honorable mention. 3 catches, just under 40 yards. Excellent job at that tight end / fullback position. Kind of playing a couple different spots there. Very impressed with him. Certainly feel like he gave himself an opportunity to get his name out there, and that's a good thing. Hit the thumbs up button on today's video because you loved us talking about the winners. Now, unfortunately, sometimes you got to talk about the guys whose stock might be down. And some of this is just my own saying, but this is where we're at. Look, I'm not going to say that his stock is completely gone, but in my opinion, anytime that you miss a PAT, that can't happen. So Cameron Dicker, I thought that he looked good on field goals. I'm not, again, attacking him, and I'm sure there's going to be people in the comment section like, Will, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, is great. And of course, you're right. But you can't miss a PAT, man. If you're a kicker, you got to be perfect. I'm sorry. That's just the way that position works. That's where I'm at. Devonte Ross. This is kind of a simple one for me, man. You can't fumble the football. You got to find a way to hold on to that thing nice and tight. Now, did he end up losing his fumble? No. And his fumble was on a punt, right? So ball gets punted to him. He ends up dropping it on the ground. Dude, if you're going to be a punt returner on this team, you're going to be a special teamer, which is where Ross is going to make this squad on special teams. You got to make sure that you're not making mistakes. Hold on to the dang ball, man. Can't let that thing hit the ground. Dalevon Campbell, man. Campbell, he had the big turnover for the Los Angeles Chargers. Really good catch. Made a bunch of guys miss. Didn't have that ball up here nice and high and tight. Let that ball get down here. Ball gets punched out. Ends up losing it on a fumble. You can't have that, man. If you're in a fringe spot to make a team, you can't make a good play and then have the good play end up being a bad play because of the fumble that you have on the football. Who was the biggest loser for the Chargers in this game? Let us know down below in the comment section. Of course, I'm very interested in hearing what your opinion is because I think there's a couple different roads that you could go down on this one. So let me know who your biggest loser was. Last loser that I want to talk about is Trey Lance, man. Feels like the Los Angeles Chargers kind of gave him an opportunity to where he could take this thing and run with it, man. He got more than just one. It was supposed to be half and half. Trey Lance didn't get half and half. It was half and a drive. That's not what he got. So it felt like there was an opportunity for him to really show out. He was throwing the football. Anytime it went to Brendan Thompson, it felt like he was staring his man down. Honestly, the interception was right as day. Steps back, staring right at Brendan Thompson like I'm staring right at you, watching this video. Threw it right there. Easy play for the safety to come up and get an interception. Trey Lance looked okay at different times. I'm not here to completely attack him. It just felt like there were strides that he should have taken. And I think that he could have maybe cemented himself as QB2 or at least really put himself in a further lead. And I think that DJU closed that gap. I really, really do. Maybe I'm a bit crazy. Maybe I'm off my rocker, but that's where I'm at. Overall, I thought it was a really good game for the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh should be very excited about where this team is at. You got 2 more preseason games left to go, so that will be a lot of fun where we see this team end up. But I'm telling you right now, it was a good game. Charger fans should be happy. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss any of the content that we have going on here on the channel ever again. Thank you guys so much for coming in, hanging out with us. Can't wait to see you guys next time. And as always, bolt the freak up.